thank all of you, the KGNU community, for coming out tonight. It's a very special evening indeed. It's a special moment for us to be able to have Don Miguel Ruiz here to talk a little bit about the Toltec art of life and death, a very deep, profound inside look into his life, his family's life, his life with Miguelito, his son, who's here with us as well. And he will share some of the stories of his mother, Doña Sarita, who I had the pleasure of meeting several occasions years ago, and really ask all of you to enjoy this moment where we can hear some of these intimate stories of the impact that this matriarch, this family matriarch, of the culture and spirit of healing and wisdom and truth that has stemmed down through the storytelling that Don Miguel and Barbara Emrys bring to us tonight. So it's really my pleasure and my honor, and I want to thank all of you from the KGNU community and Don Miguel for taking a very special stop on this very filled tour around the country to share with KGNU and the people here that really support and make KGNU the community station that it is. So without further ado, please bring your hands together, open your heart and your conscience. Don Miguel, please.
Okay, I guess we won't use you. Thank you. It's so delightful to be here tonight. I'm so happy to be here with Don Miguel Ruiz and all his enthusiastic readers. This book is, I think, long overdue, and I'm really pleased that we have the opportunity to travel around a few cities and make it a little more familiar to people. It's not his typical book. This is about his life and his teaching. It seemed to us that his readers have grown up so much in the 20 years since the Four Agreements came out that it was time to sort of express ourselves and this teaching in a more full-bodied and deeper way. And I think that was a successful effort. This book is very challenging, and what it challenges most is what most people think of themselves. They think of themselves as the sum total of their knowledge. And you are not your knowledge, as wonderful and as vast as it is. You are not even these human bodies. You are the great, eternal, infinite force of life that moves through these bodies and makes an inner narrative possible. It makes a story of your life possible. It makes all our misguided notions and beliefs possible. And it also allows us to know ourselves through knowledge, but mostly through our intimate interaction with life itself. And so much of this is discussed deeply in this book. It's discussed in an entertaining way, bringing his ancestors to life and making his mother the adorable protagonist of a story about bringing Miguel Ruiz back into the world after his heart attack in 2002. The resurrection of this character called Miguel Ruiz. And it is a character, and he will explain that right now. Miguel Ruiz.
Thank you. Well, it's really just a story, like any other story. We have to first to understand that we all are artists. The name of the book is The Toltec Art of Life and Death. The Toltec art, well, Toltec means artist. When we are talking about Toltec knowledge, we are talking about the knowledge of the artist. We all are artists. We are always creating. We are here to create. Whatever we create is wonderful. But we all We're a masterpiece of art, even if we are not aware of that. We create the most beautiful story, each one of us, the most wonderful story, and the most important story, the story of our life. There's 7 billion people in this beautiful world. 7 billion people who create their own story. And is that perfect that they live in that story? Like you live in your own story. The story that you create, this is the dream and the one you are living. Just like a great movie. You are the main actor or actress in that story. And the whole story is about you, about the main character of that story. Well, this wonderful book is a story of the main character that I create. In that case, is Miguel Ruiz. For many, many years in my life, I used to believe that I am Miguel Ruiz. It becomes my identity, a name that I didn't choose. My parents chose that name. They named me Miguel, and after long repetitions, I understood and I respond to that name. And that was the beginning of the story of Miguel Ruiz. The main character. I populate my story with a lot of secondary characters. Lots. But the main character always was Miguel Ruiz. February 28, 2002, 4 in the morning, a strong pain in the chest woke me up. Very strong pain. I hardly can breathe. And well, in that story of Miguel Ruiz becomes a medical doctor. And of course, I know that it's a heart attack. One of the symptoms is that you feel that you are dying. This is it. You know it's just time. And even that I had that strong pain, I was extremely excited because I have the great opportunity to go into that transition. And I see like the last opportunity to teach and to share that experience with everybody else. Then after I called 911, of course, that they can come and take care of my body, I called my manager. At that time was Stephanie Bureau. And very excited, I told her, honey, I have a heart attack. Please call everybody, let them know that they can witness and they can benefit for that experience. Of course, she didn't take it with that enthusiasm. But what I didn't understood at that time is that in intensive care, they don't allow anybody to go see you. How can they witness that? Anyway, as we know, at the moment of death, it's like the whole story of our life just come in front of us. Everything, the most important part of the story. And just before I was into that coma, I see the whole story of my life. And that's how I dreamed during that 9 weeks that I was in coma, that story. That story is in my mind. And my mind have a very strong imagination. For me, in that story, everything is real, it's the truth. The same way that in your story, everything is truth for you. And there's 7 billion people who claim that they have the truth. Of course, because I have the truth, I'm right, everybody is wrong. It's easy to understand that point. Just like you are right and everybody else is wrong. Well, a whole drama happened right away in that story. I love the greatest thing, even the greatest drama. What I can see that is common in every single human, that we all have a strong conflict in our mind. A conflict that for thousands of years we used to believe that it was between good and bad. Well, it's not exactly true. Good and bad is just the result of the real conflict that is happening in our mind, in everybody's mind. Because the real conflict is between the truth and all the lies that exist in our belief system. Truth versus lies is like a big war that is happening in our mind. If you see Walt Disney, you see maybe Donald Duck with a little dog in one shoulder and the other in the other. One is the devil, there is an angel, and they're always in conflict. Well, that's what is happening in our mind. It's a war. And that's the reason why we call ourselves warriors. Not because we go outside to have a war with anybody else, no, because we have an inner war. And that war is between the truth and lies. Then we all humans, we are warriors, even if we don't notice, because we all have that conflict in our mind. But in that story, we see that conflict. The truth versus lies. In that story, every secondary character is really me. I am all the secondary characters in my story. And in your story, you are really all the secondary characters in your story. But all the secondary characters in your story are based in reality. Because it's true that you have parents, that you have brothers, you have lovers, you have children, you have friends, etc., etc. But the ones who live in your story is a projection of them that you create. You judge them, you analyze them, and that becomes part of you. Then the mother and the father who lives in your story is a copy of the real ones. Because the truth is that you don't really know them. You only know what you believe about them. Then everybody in your dream, everybody in your story is just a projection of yourself. You created is in your reality, in your virtual reality and the one you live. Well, in this book, we can see that conflict. We can say that in that story is just projections of Miguel. What Miguel believes about everybody around him, what I believe about Sarita, what I believe about my grandfather, my father, etc. For everyone who stays in that story, is not really them. It's a projection that comes in the reflection when I perceive them. Anyway, what is very interesting is that just before I was into coma, when I speak with my mother, she told me directly, Miguel, you cannot die. You cannot die before I die. You have to take care of me. And I tell my mother, Mother, you have many other children. You have brothers, you have sons and daughters. They can take care of you. They say, no, you need to take care of me. You have to come back. You cannot die. You will not die before I die. Of course, all of that have impression in me. And all that go into that dream. A wonderful dream, really, where my mother is the hero of that story, the one who will bring me back to life. But in order for her to bring me back to life, she had to face all the lies that exist in my mind. She had to face knowledge. That in that case, the name of knowledge is Lala. Follow the humor of Sarita. She called it Lala. Then when she came into my dream, telling me that there's no way that she's gonna let me die, that I start behaving like a little boy to pull my ears once again and say, I will bring you back to life even if you don't want to. And I show my mother my body and say, you see my body? It's hardly alive. If I go back into that body, I'm gonna go into a crippled body. How can I even function in that body anymore? She didn't care. She said, I have to bring you back. And you know how, then you better tell me how I bring you back. Well, okay. She always wins. I think that's familiar to all of you.
Very much.
Anyway, I say, if you want to really bring me back to life, you need to go to my dream. I showed it the tree of knowledge because I was in the tree of life when Sarita arrived with me. And I said, see that tree? Well, in that tree is everything that is about Miguel. Everything that Miguel believes is right there. And you will find in that place someone who will guide you to recover the greatest memories of Miguel. Not the memorable one, like Miguel getting married, Miguel getting the diploma of a medical doctor, etc., etc. No, the memories who changed the direction of my life. Those memories that really was an encounter with the truth. That's the memories that are important. The moment of the truth in my life. What makes me different. Because in that conflict between the truth and lies, all those lies will not survive the presence of the truth. Then the truth is the only weapon that Miguel had in order to recover what was lost. Anyway, they agree. It's going to looking for all those great memories. And the transformation begins. Transformation for my mother, transformation for knowledge. Then what this book really is about the redemption of knowledge. Because in my knowledge exists a lot of, what is that word? Superstition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, superstitions that come from the lies, of course. Well, a lie is a distortion of the truth. Then, that is when that distortion of the truth is corrupt, it becomes, what is the word?
Superstition.
Oh, superstition. Then you can see that in my belief system, it was full of superstitions. Superstition that I really believe. Superstitions in all the directions of the life. Superstition as a scientist in medicine, superstition in religion, with all those angels and demons and whatever. Superstition in every single direction. But it's not really the whole problem, all the superstitions. Because the main problem is when I defend those superstitions. Because as soon as I defend the superstition, I become a fanatic. In different degrees, depends how corrupt is the superstition. And as most corrupt is the superstition, and we defend it, we even can lose humanity. We can even kill or die protecting those superstitions or trying to impose the superstitions to other people, make them believe what we believe. That is the war that exists in the human mind. the truth versus lies. Then when you read this book and you compare it with the story that you create, you will find out it is very similar, almost the same. Of course, your belief system is completely different, but it's also full of superstitions. Superstitions that only you know which superstitions are. And you see yourself defending all those superstitions and becomes fanatic. Even if it's football, you become a big fanatic defending your team or defending your candidate in politicians or defending whatever God you believe on. Simple superstitions that you have that it looks like it's not important. When you defend it, you create all those conflicts. First with yourself and with everybody else around you. How many of you have conflicts with your friends because you have different superstitions and you defend them in different ways? And you don't even see how fanatical you are defending all your superstitions. Well, when you read this book, you can see yourself doing the same thing. But you have a weapon, and that weapon is the truth. All the superstitions, all those lies will not survive the presence of the truth. And the truth really exists. The truth exists long before the creation of humanity and will exist long after the extinction of humanity. The truth doesn't need to be proved. It just exists. On the other hand, all the lies only exist because we believe in those lies and we defend those lies. This is the only reason why the lies exist. Then we can see the Toltec art of life and death. Life and death. That will be the conclusion. Life and death. We don't have to prove that life exists. Why? Because we all are alive. We don't need to take it to the scientific method and say, okay, life really exists. That's ridiculous. We are alive. We are alive. On the other hand, death. We don't have to prove that death exists. Why? Because everybody will die. No one will escape from death. The truth is that life is real, death is real. Everything else, maybe it's not real at all. No. But in that interaction between life and death, that creates everything. Creates everything that exists. The whole creation is with that mix between life and death. Maybe it will be easier to understand if we compare that the whole universe with a computer. Everything that you see and hear in the computer is made just by 2 digits, 1 and 0. You can see the most wonderful images in your computer, and it's nothing but 1 and 0. You hear all the great music, it's nothing but 1 and 0. And everything that you see in that computer and hear on that computer is really virtual. And it's a copy of the whole reality that, yes, it exists, but it's that 1 and 0 is life and death. Death is matter. Matter cannot move if a force don't move matter. And if matter is in movement, cannot stop if a force don't stop matter. But matter by itself cannot move. That's a fact. Matter reflects the force that is pushing matter. And that force can record into matter. And the reflection of that force is what creates the mind, the virtual reality. Now that force, the force that moves matter is life. Life and death, energy and matter. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed, and is changing all the time. Is another fact. Is real. And from that combination between energy and matter, it manifests all the creations. Now, I live in a physical body. My body is matter. My body is dead. It's dead since the moment that I was conceived. But that force gives life. And from one cell, it makes it divide in millions of cells and give shape to every organ. And after being cooking for 9 months in a womb, then it was born. That life, that force, make that body to start growing up, to multiply, to growing old, until that matter no longer can contain that force of life. Then that matter will be destroyed or recycled. But that force will not be destroyed. Then in the point of view of matter, which cannot be moved without the energy, life can have a meaning, but not exactly in the matter, but in the reflection of matter. And the force that pushes matter cannot be destroyed, which means that we all are immortals. But we live in a physical body that really becomes our home. The Toltec art of life and death, when we understand that wonderful combination between life and death, we understand the manifestation of everything that exists. This is the beauty of this book. And just like your story, it's exactly the same, with or without awareness, because you are the force who lives in your body. Once I knew that, which is many, many years before my heart attack, I saw my physical body as my home, as my sanctuary, where I live, I protect, and I respect my physical body. For the good or for bad, in health or in sickness, I protect them until the moment that I leave my physical body. Then the point of view of death changed completely, because there's no death. When the body dies, nothing happens. You are immortal. Now, the main character of the story, Miguel Ruiz. Who is Miguel Ruiz? What is Miguel Ruiz? Well, the answer is, I don't know. I have no idea who I am. But I am. I'm here and I am alive. Oh, Miguel Ruiz is just the identity. It's the main character of a story that is not real, but looks real, feels so real. And while I'm in the physical body, for me it's absolutely real, but it's really relative. It doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, if you can see, the dog doesn't know that it's a dog. The cat doesn't know that it's a cat. We call them dogs, we call them cats. but they don't know what they are, and they don't care. They just exist. Well, I just exist. I can justify my existence so easily. I can say I'm a male human being, I'm a medical doctor, I'm an author. I can say whatever I say about myself, and nobody knows, only I know. But the truth is that I have no idea what I am. And that's what you will find out sooner or later also. Well, let's see what Barbara has to say about this.
Superstition.
Thank you.
I think the point Miguel made that's so important is that in telling this story, this particular story about this particular character, Miguel Ruiz, who has been the main character in his human reality, he's also giving us all an opportunity to see ourselves in another way, see ourselves as the main character of our own story, which is our own creation. So many of us want to feel victimized by life, by reality, by circumstances, and even by the people that we have gathered together to populate our own dream or reality. Instead of seeing that, okay, whatever story I told myself from the beginning of my life, with the help of other storytellers, of course, but the story I've been telling myself is my creation, and I create it from moment to moment. I create it in every interaction and every thought process. I create it every time I make a decision. I'm basing that decision on how I've already characterized this main character, this person who has my identity and my memories, this person who everybody seems to know in a different way and reflect in a different way. But how do I see this character? How do I project that character onto the panorama, this movie screen of my reality? And can I do it more impeccably? The word impeccable, of course, has been a word Miguel has used a long time, and it has something to do with not committing a sin. But against whom? Against this human being. And in creating our character and making our decisions about our lives, in speaking, thinking, reacting to what we perceive, we can be impeccable and act impeccably towards this human being. We can use our words in a way that does not come back and haunt or hurt this human being. That's great art. But we have been conditioned by other stories and other ways of telling stories, other theories and beliefs. We've been conditioned to sort of denigrate this human rather than to pay attention to its needs and its responses, particularly its great, overwhelming desire to interact with life itself. You could say matter interacting with energy. This is what this body wants to do. It's matter wanting to interact with this infinite force, endless and eternal force of energy that had no beginning and will have no end. The body, of course, will, but while it is filled with life force, allow it to have that impeccable discourse, and do it by watching how you interfere with it. Do it by seeing and listening to how you describe it, how you talk to it or don't talk to it. You neglect your body where you're talking all day long to your favorite pet. Do you talk to your body ever? Do you reassure it? Or do you just blame it? Or do you just harass it with that war of ideas that's going on in your head? Which is a better idea? I thought I had a good idea, but then I heard Martha say something, and that seems like a better idea. Or I read this book, or I heard this lecture. And the body is having to respond emotionally to all these ideas. Let's help it to calm down. They're just ideas. There's a conversation between two characters in this book where one says to the other, quite rightly, "You and I don't exist. You are nothing more than an idea, my friend." And the other guy says, "Yeah, I'm as dangerous as an idea. You're no more never mind. It's a really great conversation. No, the gist of it is, you're no more dangerous than an idea, to which the guy says, and no less so. So ideas can help. They are just ideas, they're fancies. They can help this human, they can help our peace of mind, they can help our physical health, or they can actually create problems. They can create that kind of oppression and tyranny that we don't want to subject our pets to, our children to, but somehow it's okay to subject our bodies to. So knowledge, ideas, theories, beliefs, we need to attend to them. We need to make sure that they're keeping up with how we perceive ourselves now and how we perceive the world. We need ideas to be constantly monitored, and also to see them for what they are. They're tools for communication. They can be put down at the end of the day. We don't have to dedicate our emotional energy or our lives or our physical health to maintaining them and defending them, as Miguel was saying. Ideas are our creations. These bodies have to respond emotionally to our investment in ideas. So give this body a break, give this human a break, allow it to interact with life in all moments without the interference and the constant nagging from an idea. Use these ideas, use your beliefs, put them down at the end of the day, get a good night's sleep, pick up another one in the morning. It's just an idea, and is it serving life? Are you, as a programmed mind, as a storyteller, are you a messenger of great ideas? Are you a messenger of ideas that reflect the truth, meaning life? We sometimes think, oh, truth and lies, that means I know the truth and everybody else is off course. These people across the world are not telling themselves the truth. It's so sad, it's so horrible. But in fact, every time we say a word, every time we put words together into a sentence, we're getting further away from truth, which is just the life force. So if your ideas are reflections of that life force, make sure that's what they're doing, that they're reverberating and resonating with life, optimistic, positive, energy reinforcing, however you want to call it. Let these ideas, these thoughts that flick through your head, let them accurately and faithfully reflect life's bounty, life's constant creativity, and life's regenerating force, rather than depleting the body's energy, rather than keeping this mind at war with itself, a war that the body has to support emotionally. All of these ideas may sound new, or maybe they sound familiar, put in a different way, but there's so much for the mind, which is how we identify ourselves. We identify ourselves as mind, accumulating knowledge, holding on to knowledge, holding on to favorite ideas and memories, as if that has anything to do with the present moment. But all of these ideas are challenging the status quo of a belief system, and that's such a good thing. It's such a good thing to constantly challenge, to question, to rearrange your priorities where beliefs are concerned, just as you want to rearrange priorities in the physical world. What am I investing my time, my physical energy, my emotional energy in? Should I pour it all into this one thing, this one house, this one job, this one person? Or can I use my energies for the benefit of this one human and for the benefit of the world, the wonderful world of storytelling and ideas that ultimately affects this human? That's self-reflection. That's being aware of what you're thinking and how that thinking affects one wonderful, vital organism that is the human you occupy, and then how that human can affect so many other humans based on not having a mind at war with itself, based on not having to stir up emotions because of a narrative that is no longer appropriate to who you are or what you want to be. These are, I think, kind of simple and basic concepts, but they challenge so many other ones that have been set in place and create habitual behavioral responses, and we never go back and review them. We're wondering why we're acting sort of the way we did at 8 years old. Well, you didn't go back and review a belief system that was, rooted at 8 years old or 10 years old or 12 years old or 20 or 30. Let's always go back and review it. Miguel once told the world that there's 4 agreements that kind of shake up all the other agreements you ever made with yourself. Look at those 4 agreements and see how you can sort of bring down a world of storytelling and build up a new one. And really, agreements with yourself, or just as important as agreements you make with your loved ones, constantly keep them refreshed. What is it that makes us happy today, or this week, or this year? What makes the love between us keep flowing and keep vitally energized? That's what couples should do. That's what family members should do and friends should do. But how about how we can do that with ourselves? Constantly keep this relationship with ourselves active, energized, vital. Well, we keep our agreements with ourselves fresh. Is this the way I want to talk to myself today? Do I want to get out of bed moaning and groaning and complaining about things that haven't happened yet? Or do I want to wake up and talk about to myself the things that went wrong yesterday and ruin the present moment because of a memory about what might have been yesterday, could have been, what went wrong in our perception and nobody else's? So our dialogue with ourselves is so important for the health and happiness of this human being. And one happy human is contagious. One happy human affects all the human in that person's dream, and ultimately the community of humans around the world. Maybe the world won't change and be totally happy within our lifetime, but our world will be happy. Our world will be happy before this body has to totally succumb to the infinite force of life, which it was meant to do, which it, the great infinite force that it arose from so many years ago in my case, and will, surrender to eventually. So much of this book is about surrender, knowledge surrendering to life, people, characters, stories surrendering to life. Ultimately, each of us as a programmed mind saying, you know what, I'm here to serve something I cannot define, I cannot name, but I know it's me. I know it's the truth of me, and it will go on long after this human is gone. And I think redemption is a beautiful way to describe this. Knowledge being such a fantastic gift that we've been given as human organisms. We've been given this gift of taking perception and turning it into language, and turning language into an expression of ideas. And that gift shouldn't be used against us, and it shouldn't be used against others. All we have to do is listen to how we do that and repair the damage. In the moment we speak, we can repair so much and heal so much. So this is what we have to give the world, an all-inclusive view of the wisdom and the teachings of a wonderful, wonderful man who's still alive today, thank heavens, because of the great genius of medical science, but also the determination of a loving mother. And I appreciate all of you for being here and talking to us about it.
Answer questions.
Okay, so I was told we get to have a conversation with the audience, and if anybody has questions, not necessarily just about this book. I'm not sure many people have had a chance to read it. It's only been out a week. So if anybody would like to ask Miguel a question or comment, yes, and I will too if he chickens out. And can I hear from anybody? Yes, there we go. Hi, I can hear you.
Good. reminders. One is that life is but a stage, and we are the actors. I think that's what Shakespeare said, something like that. And also, I really like your expression of life, death, matter, energy. You forgot taxes, because that's also a certainty.
Mhm.
But I wanted to ask you, when you had this experience, what else informed what you're telling us now? Because I haven't read any of your books. I will now probably, but what else happened in your experience of death and life when you had the heart attack that you draw inspiration from, but that you want to communicate to us? Because that seems like it's such a crucial thing, and I'd like to know what you tell.
What happened in his experience of near death that he would like to talk to us about. And of course, all of that is in this book. Would you like to summarize?
Okay. I was going and they bring me back.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to show my apprentices that I have, by that time, few thousands, I guess.
I'm going to put that away from, yeah, okay.
Okay. That they can see death in a completely different way. Not the way we see it from long time. And of course, the way they see death around the world, it changed in different regions, etc., etc. But for everybody to see that there is something completely natural. And with the point of view of what we really are, death really doesn't exist. It's just transformation. Then we can say that death is when matter stop pushing, when energy start pushing matter, which really never happened. Because energy is always moving matter. Then with that point of view, there is no death. But the way we see in our story, we see people that exist, we see them die, and we no longer see them. Well, the reality is that we really never meet them. We only see the image of them that was reflected by light. Light reflects them, they got the image, and that's what we have in our mind. That's what we know. Then when we understand that, we see that every secondary character that exists in our mind is nothing but a ghost, an image of the ones that are real. Then just because the physical body is no longer here, it doesn't mean that the image that we have about them have to disappear also. No, they don't disappear, they're still in our mind. And they will still in our mind until we no longer have that mind, until our own life force leaves the physical body. Then when we miss somebody because he's dead, what we really doing is that we feel sorry for ourselves because we will not see them anymore. Like when I have this heart attack, my middle son, Don Jose, came to see me. When he knew that I have a heart attack, he was scared. For the first time, he saw me in that condition because I always been a very strong man and I have all those tubes everywhere. And obviously, I was dying. But when he came to see me into the intensive care, and I see him and I have that big smile. I was so happy to see him. But then I noticed that he was crying. He told me, "Father, please don't die. Don't leave me. Don't leave me alone." I look at him directly into his eyes and say, "If this is the way that you celebrate the death of your father, get out of the room, fix yourself, and when you're ready, come back because I have something important to share with you." And my son have many years learning from me. He himself was teaching already. It was a shock for him. Then he went out of the room. He started talking to himself, started feeling, recreating the whole interaction we had. And he saw that reflection in himself, and he see his own selfishness. He saw that he will spend the last moments of my life showing me all his pain, ruining my death in a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I was not even dead yet. Then he, in his mind, what happened is that he shifted. And he imagined that he was the one who was dying. Uh-huh. And that I was with him and said, son, please don't die. It's not okay. Don't die. And then he imagined that he was already dead. And he imagined that he see me in the world doing nothing, not doing lectures anymore, not writing books anymore, feeling sorry for myself because my son was not with me. And that he had just an opportunity to talk to me and say, Father, I'm okay. I am not in pain. I'm very happy. Then don't hurt yourself with the excuse of my death. Be alive. Enjoy your life. You don't have to worry about me at all anymore. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Then he come back. Of course, I have that wonderful smile still. He grabbed my hand. He kissed it. And that remind him, what does he say later? And the scene of the Godfather story. And he said, Father, I am with you now. And I say, welcome back home. This is exactly what I wanted to tell you. Then you got it, and now please you can go because there's many other people who come to see me. Then this is what I really want to share everybody, that if we have all that emotional pain, it's not because they die, but because we will not see them anymore. You know, there's many of our friends or whoever, relatives, that they are in pain. They may have cancer or heart attack or whatever, but the physical body is in pain. And we don't want to let them go because we will not see them anymore. It's not because of them, because ourselves, because our selfishness. Then if we can change that, we can celebrate that they no longer have in pain. Of course, there's some people who die by accident and it's not expected, but it's still exactly the same thing. We feel all that emotional pain because we will not see them anymore. Oh, poor me, what am I gonna do without you? We live in our own story. They live in their story. We need to respect their story as well as we respect our own story. Then this is just a little part of what I wanted to share with my apprentices, because it's much more, but hey, I don't think we have the time. Anyway, Barbs.
Okay. I see a hand. Yes.
First of all, I am so thrilled that my friend told me today that you were here. I just want to thank you so much that your teachings saved my life.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful to be able to tell you that. And so much so that in 2005, I had suffered 2 psychotic breaks and had gone through my mother's death of suicide when I was 19. And I had no clue on what this whole world was about, just like you had spoke of the Toltec Indians looking up at the sky and wondering what's going on. And your 4 agreements made so much sense to me. And I've been sharing with so many people these teachings. In fact, in Denver, I teach in the Denver Health facility to people with mental health challenges. And I've been teaching all over for 3 years. And I've been trying to get a hold of your organization to somehow further my education so I can make more of a difference, because I have really touched lives and have made differences in their lives as much as mine. And I just want to get better at it as much as I can. But again, I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to touch others as you have touched mine.
Well, thank you very much for all what you say. You know, this is exactly my passion. It's what I love to do in my life. To give. Because for me, real love is an equilibrium between gratitude and generosity. With that equilibrium, we rise in love. And it's based in respect, of course. On the other hand, when we are selfish, we stop the gratitude and we stop the generosity. And we only hurt ourselves. And we become obsessive. And that takes us to our destruction. Then I'm very happy because wherever I go, I can see the result of those words. The result of being authentic. The result that I really want to go to everyone. And this is the reason why wherever I go, I ask for help. Like I will do right now, please help me. Help me to change the world. Not the planet Earth, not humanity, but the world that you create. Change your own world. Help me to change your own world. Only you can change it. Nobody can do it. Because only you know, what you believe. Nobody can tell you what to believe or what not to believe. Nobody can really impose you to do what they want you to do. No, it's you the one who really can change your own world. Just imagine if everybody changed their own world. Humanity will be completely different. Then use love. Be generous, be grateful, and change your own world. You will change it when you can change the main character of your story. If you change the main character of your story, just like magic, everything will change. Then please, help me to change the world. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's time.
I suspect that's it for this evening. Yeah? Okay. So we're going to express our gratitude once again for all of you coming out on a cold night. I think there'll be others. And meeting us this way. I think so much of the narrative in this book woven into, the teaching will illuminate what Miguel has been saying for so many years and not necessarily been able to write about. So enjoy it. Enjoy every paragraph as if it was a direct expression of his love to you. And all of you have a wonderful, wonderful life. Take care of your human. Thank you.
I'm very grateful for you to bring us here, that we can share with all of them, all our love. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.